Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Today I want to do something fun. It's the afternoon, July 3rd. I finished all of my work and I'm actually feeling a little bit sick, so I just figured I would chill, rest, and maybe do a little bit of day rotting. But what if we did the 24-hour challenge? What do you think? Now I'm too old to actually do like a full 24-hour challenge where we don't stop. So I figured maybe we can do it where I do stop to sleep, to use the restroom, the normal things. And I wanted it to be a 24-hour reading and pottery slash painting, I don't know, creative challenge. So if I was doing pottery, I could actually just listen to a book instead at that time. I love watching booktubers do this challenge, and I've always kind of wanted to do it in the back of my head. I've never quite had the time for it. Since it's the holiday tomorrow, I might go to the park, hang out with some friends, read a book. This is the perfect time to just rest and also just restore my body at this moment. So I have a few books on my July TBR that I want to read, and I know we definitely need a romance book, which we do have, but we also need a literary fiction, maybe a sci-fi, anything else, I don't know, up for grabs. And so I figured maybe we can look through the TBR or just try to figure out what we can do and read. Hold on, my tea is ready. One second. Okay, here's my tea. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, so the first book that I want to read is Real, which has been on my shelf for actually since February. I went to Marcus Books in Oakland. It's a Black-owned bookstore, and it's been around for over 50 years. And I bought this book back then, but I still have yet to read it. Of course, it's Kennedy Ryan. I have yet to read a Kennedy Ryan book. So I figured maybe this would be a perfect time to read it, especially since I'm not really interested in romance. But if I'm doing it with a community, this might feel like an opportunity to not sulk in my thoughts for too long in romance. I don't know. And then, of course, this was also on my TBR playground that I also got in New Zealand by Richard Powers, and he wrote The Overstory, which was a Pulitzer Prize winning book a couple years ago. I felt like this might be a beautiful summer read. So this is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and also like what defines a good summer read. I don't know. And then finally, of course, we have Tress, which my camera is sitting on right now and using as a flat surface. But Tress, I am almost done with. And so I feel like I should just finish that during this 24-hour session today. But I mean, do we start something new? Is this all new things? And then, of course, I have a few books from the library on my Libby library app that I could listen to while I'm doing pottery. I would listen to Good Girl, and I just started that recently too. I probably sound chaotic because that sounds like I just started a whole bunch of books, but I'm also very much a mood reader, and this could be a time to just like finish a few of those books. Okay, so I'm going to start my stopwatch now. Boop. Okay, we are starting. Gotta get to reading. See you in a second. Oh my gosh, I'm finding that I can't stop smiling. I'm like all gushy inside. This is such a good book. So far I'm on page 46. Our timer is at 1 hour and 12 minutes, and we're doing good. I really like this book. I'm so glad I picked it up. It's a contemporary romance book that's very much giving a bit contemporary fiction with romance in it, but I can see that the more I read, the romance part is coming into it as they connect. But so it's about a girl named Neva who's working as an understudy on Broadway, and she's getting her spotlight in this big center stage moment as the main actress goes on vacation. And so she's getting her spotlight, and in the crowd, Cannon Holt, a famous film director, is watching her and loves her performance. But regardless of him being in the room, I felt like I was in the room too. And I feel like the writing is really bringing me along for the theater production, and that I'm there with them. And I found myself after her performance being like, good job, like, that's my baby. But no, I thought it was really good, and I feel like I'm here with the characters. So I love this book, and so I'm so glad I picked this up. And I think I want to eat a snack, maybe get some popcorn really quick, and then jump back into the book. Okay, I think I have a confession. I love Cannon Holt. I have a crush on him. I'm already saying it. There's something about him. I don't even know him. I feel like I met him for 2 seconds, and that I'm the character Nevaeh. Is it Nevaeh? Is that how you say her name? Anywho, I feel like Cannon, even though I just met the person, he gets me. He truly gets me. And maybe that's what I want in my next relationship. I want someone who can see my talents beyond me being this famous person or whatever. Just like sees me, gets me, understands my worth. I think that's why I like Cannon so much. But okay, I got my popcorn. I'm gonna continue reading. See you in a second. And yeah, okay, so yeah. So something just happened in the storyline that I don't want to share because I don't want to mention any spoilers. And it's not even, I don't know if it's a big part of the storyline yet, but if you've read the book, it's on page 63. And right before reading this, I was literally thinking, Nevaeh is me. I think that I was really meant to read this story because what she's going through, I'm also experiencing some of those things in life. That's all I'll say. One, because I haven't really shared that part of my life with y'all yet. We just getting cozy. But I think I was meant to read this book. And I was wondering, was I meant to read this back in February when I bought this? But I do think life happens for a reason. And I feel very thankful to have read this. And I'm on page 71 now. And so I think I need to get to page 99 or something like that before I stop. But I feel at this moment, it's like, why would I end Black Joy now and Black Love? I kind of want to continue reading and let this be my main book that I read tonight. Because it's like, if I put this down, then I'm just going to go ahead and finish off Tress. I'm not saying Tress is not good. It's just, I'm having a really fun time with that. And so let's just continue Black Joy. Hey, really quick, I'm going to go for a walk. I've been sitting inside all day. And then I'm only on chapter 2, so it's almost like I'm still starting this book from scratch. And I'll listen to this while I'm going to take a little walk. time. And this is where I'm at on my challenge. It's definitely a challenge for me. I'm feeling like, as an introvert, to express myself fully for 24 hours straight feels like it's a lot. It's taking a lot for me. And so I apologize for earlier. I didn't actually come on and talk. I didn't feel like talking. I'm very much a morning person, but I just like to get things done. So this morning was good. I was working on The Good Girl, and I'm actually, wait, let's look. And I'm actually 58% through, which is really good. It's a novel by Aria Aber. If you love anything about like family love stories, dysfunctional families, or maybe even someone who's going through self-discovery, this is the book for you. And so I actually tried checking this book out from the library at the beginning of the year when it was published, but I just got this book from the Libby library, so that's how long this hold has been. And I felt like I would really like this book because I'm actually not that type of girl. I kind of enjoy that adventure, that thrill, and that like lust that's happening for these types of books. And if anything, it feels this is as close I can get to being a bad girl, because I don't really go to clubs or clubs anymore, and I just enjoy being at home or doing crafty things, being in a pottery studio, painting, hanging out with friends, going on a picnic. That's kind of my vibe. And even growing up, I remember my mom telling me, she's like, you can like date people, right? Like you can go out and party. She said that to me in college. And yeah, so I was always just that studious kid. So I very much was intrigued by this book. And one of the things I really like is the writing style. It does very much have a lyrical prose to it. And I even remember I wrote down some of the details that she gives about Marlowe at the beginning of the book. She says, with a square jaw and dimpled chin and the nose of an emperor, and greasy hair that fell in girlish waves down his chin. I felt the way that was written, I know I'm not saying it as the way they illustrated it, it just felt like, ooh, yeah, tell me more. I would like to say I did cringe a bit finding out the age gap difference, and that she's not even 18 at the beginning and he's 36. So I if anything, the things that kind of made me cringe about this book is the age gap. And also, I did feel a bit exhausted, as if I'm hanging out with her at the club all the time. Yeah, I was like, okay, when are we gonna chill? And at one point, her friend's like, I'm so exhausted partying with you. So yes, good book, very much self-discovery. Yeah, I do feel like even though I find this kind of cringy, at one point she does call Marlowe a pedophile, which I'm like, yes, finally. Okay, so you do acknowledge this is weird, right? But yes, so it's cringy. I don't quite like these big age gap kind of romances. And I don't necessarily think this is a romance book, but I don't know if I would have read it if I knew his age gap, if I knew his age. But regardless, I do love the storyline. In the backdrop of Berlin's artistic underground world. And I kind of even love the storyline in the back where she comes back home late nights, late mornings, to disappoint her family every single time. So I'm enjoying that so far. I'm halfway through, and that's my recap on that one. And I'm also halfway through with Real. And but if you like Real, I also think you're gonna like Party of Two by Jasmine Guillory. And I read this last year, actually around like some of the elections. I thought this might be like a cute kind of themed book at the time. And Jasmine Guillory is also a Black author. And I really liked this one. It has a similar vibe where it's just two people who are very much different try to kind of like secretly date, and one person is very famous. You kind of go through the interweavings of how they grow in their relationships and the complications of that. So I do feel like if you like Real, you'll like Party of Two. And yeah. Okay, so at this moment, I'm going to, as you can see, I'm wearing something cute. It's 4th of July. I'm going to a party tonight, and I want to make peach cobbler without the cobbler because I forgot I don't have the crust, unless I do the crust from scratch. I don't know. I don't have eggs, so we'll. I need to figure this out. But I want to make peach cobbler, and so I figured I could make the filling now, and then jump on the pottery wheel and continue and finish out Good Girl while I do some hobbies. All right.
Water out of the tap. Heat it in the kettle.
Hey y'all, I'm back. It's the afternoon and I've changed. Yes, I've changed. I'm usually really good at keeping my clothes clean when I'm throwing pottery on the wheel, but today was a weird day and I thought maybe I could just like wear my clothes that I'm gonna wear later, look cute for y'all, and that's not what happened. So I changed. And I do like this outfit. I feel like this is very my July 4th, or Juneteenth #2 for me. And I just wrapped up Good Girl while I was on the wheel. I forgot that, when you speed up the time on audio books, that it goes a bit faster. And so I need to start another audiobook knowing that I'm going to start trimming later tonight or either tomorrow morning. And so the only other book that I had checked out in the library was The City Inside, which I learned about recently from the YouTuber The Saying Over. She just recently was talking about dystopian POC authors, and she mentioned this one. I was like, ooh, I think I really like this. And it is about a near future epic. I know it's a gaming book. I know it's dystopia, and I know that it's also very much about like social justice. So I'm definitely going to take a dig into that. Okay, so let me give you a quick thought on my overall thoughts on Good Girl. I thought it was actually a really good book, besides the cringiness of the age difference. I loved how the conversation of otherness was mentioned throughout the book. And she mentions the idea of self-hating Afghan or self-hating Black is a thing, or self-hating any other culture or religion that you're in. It's like we kind of have to like find our identity. And I felt like this was a good book because it reminded me of even when I was in college, how I had to kind of go through my identity again and learn who I was. Even though, yes, I know I'm Black, it's like you don't quite fully know who you are and your struggles and everything you've gone through, especially me who's grown up in Texas, until you hit a certain period in your life. And for me, that was in college when I was taught different history. So yeah, overall, I thought Good Girl was really good. I did have some other quotes. I can't quite think of them at the moment, but pretty good overall. And then I wanted to actually just stop on Reel because I'm halfway done and I'm going to do a few things. Okay, so first off, I'm going to finish Tress. I'm going to do my best to finish Tress, but I'm not going to make it a big deal. I was thinking about it a bit more, and I also want to think about something and keep my mind a bit more thinking about real world scenarios as well. And although like both Good Girl and Real touch on historical facts, I want to pick up on a topic that I feel is very relevant at the moment. So maybe we can even have some conversations on that. I recently bought Search's Selfhood in the Digital Age by Vahini Vara. And it's about exploring the internet and digital technologies, about finding our personal identity, self-perception through AI and all the different search engines. And so I feel like this will be a good book to read. I might not read the whole thing just because I feel like when you're reading a non-fictional book like this, it's just hard to just read in one sitting. So I might just read like some essays as well in this book. And we'll see where that goes from there. But I feel like that might be all of the 24 hours, since right now we're at 14 hours. But we'll see. And then as far as what I was making, I have 2 commissions. I made and maybe I can just show one on the screen here. I made some like really cute cups last year that had bow ties on it. And it reminded me kind of like of Hello Kitty. And I sold both of them. However, so the most recent one I sold, and it was pink, but the buyer also wanted a purple one for her daughter. So I'm making a purple one for her, and that's why I was trying to measure and get it as close to the original as possible. I also have been trying to like get this matcha pouring cup with a pinch handle, and that's just from a request from a friend. And I don't know why I just kind of slipped my mind for a while, but I was trying to do this for a while and it felt really hard when I got to the trimming stage. And so I'm trying it again, seeing if I can actually do this. And I might have to, hopefully I can do this because this is my 4th time trying to do it. And then, of course, I mentioned in the last video about thinking about ideas about summer, ice cream, lemons, blah, blah, blah. But I just want to like draw on a few pieces with some whimsical strawberries, lemons, and all of the fun summery things. So I just want to be a little bit playful, and hopefully tomorrow I can trim and do some underglazing while continuing to listen to this audiobook. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. I obviously won't be able to read or anything tonight, but I did make the peach. It's just like a peach cobbler without the cobbler. So the peach filling, it's still really good. You don't need crust for everything. Hold on. Okay, it's wrapped, but remember last year I was designing wrapping paper? So I'm still working through that. And I hope to maybe sell some this holiday season. But within this wrapped book is a special book that I'm gifting to my friend tonight. It's Curvy Girl Summer. I feel like she would really love this book. I feel like that's her style. She loves kind of contemporary fiction, romance, and I think she'll really appreciate this. So although I won't be reading tonight, I'll be gifting a book to a friend, which I'm really excited to see her reaction when she gets it. Anywho, see y'all tonight when I look all haggard. So this is interesting. This person is asking search engines to have a normal conversation, and then you kind of learn about how your whole life has been actually documented because of all of your search histories, which is kind of scary. What happened to incognito mode? But I was kind of flipping through this book, and it kind of reminded me of this session I went to where you were to ask all of the generative AI tools, what's a good gift for your grandma? And it was actually surprising to see that most of them kind of gave the same answer, but it didn't really like give it in particular to maybe what your grandma wanted. It was kind of like a staple answer. However, one in particular ask another following up question with like, what is your grandma like? And so it's to say that like these AI tools are going to give you this copy and paste answer that like everyone's going to give you. And so if you're going to use this for a paper or something, expect to have a whole bunch of similar papers. And it very much kind of puts everyone into this monolithic bucket that we are all the same, not recognizing that your grandma is very much different from my grandma. And so some of the search results, I felt as though I would never give my grandma that, besides maybe like a photo album. But one of the interesting responses was every single one except for one responded with give her a gemstone from her birth year. And I was like, that's an interesting one, but like I don't know, maybe that's something that was ornamental at that time period. I love to give my grandma puzzles. I did not see that on there. And then, I mean, unrelated to this book, but in this session workshop that I participated in, I learned about a new tool called Latimer AI, which was actually designed and founded by a Black individual, and that they were trying to create more of a database that encompassed more of our culture. So I've been trying to use that if I do use some sort of chat generative tool. And also it's to note, because I have noticed a lot more that I see a bit of people promoting AI tools without understanding it fully and the environmental implications, the exploitation parts of it. And this is kind of what I actually talk about through my podcast. So if you are interested, I would be open to sharing it. It's just very much unrelated to this channel. So if you are interested, DM me and I'll share it with you. It is to say we should be a bit more mindful of how we use it and how much we utilize these tools. The amount of energy, I'm going to just put the fact right here because I don't want to get this fact wrong. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to reading this a bit more. I see that there's some conversations about some people in power. And I'm curious to understand as I'm scrolling, it says, from the perspectives of an AI corporation focusing on different demographics and discussions of art can have significant rhetorical value serving various strategic goals. One, focusing on white male artists. And then it focuses on tradition and legitimacy, association with established canon, perceived authority and expertise. Two, appeal to traditionalist audiences. And then they asked the chat to focus on non-white female artists. What does that look like? And of course, there's that word that everyone hates now, diversity and inclusion, progressive values, into broadening representation. It goes into innovation and modernity as far as association with contemporary movements and engagement with social issues and expanding market reach. So appeal to diverse audiences, new collaborations and opportunities. And how can this actually lead to strategic balance and thought leadership, building trust, blah, blah, blah. So it goes through a lot of interesting viewpoints on things we just should consider. Even the fact that she's asking the search to answer some of these questions is unique. So I'm going to continue with this and I'll talk to you guys later. Wait a minute. Hey friends, it is now Sunday evening and honestly this is taking me forever to do and I need to figure out a way to where I can block out like a 2-day chunk of time to do this 24-hour challenge because yes, life still had to work. So I have 3.5 hours left in the challenge and I have 50 pages left in Tress. It's gotten really, really good. I'm glad I powered through because I think I was in that period where it was a slump right in the middle, and I think that's why I put it down, and I'm glad I picked it back up because I'm really enjoying it now. But overall, today in general was a really, really challenging day in the studio. It was probably the most challenging day I've ever had there because I had a lady who pretty much was a Karen to me. So yeah, that was my day. I want to now just do a little bit of art therapy for myself and paint and do some underglaze painting on my ceramics pieces. Maybe I can work on this painting that I haven't touched in months. But yeah, that's what I think I'm going to prioritize right now. And I'm hoping the next time you see me, I'm done with this challenge. And I can give you an update on Tress. I can give you an update on that audiobook. I can't even remember the name, The City Something. It's The City Something. And I can give an update to you about the book searches. So I'll see you later. Okay. Good night. Been a hot second since we talked. I never wrapped up the 24-hour challenge, so don't hate me. But I did finish. I finished the challenge. I'm like, sometimes I can be that person who does a project 95% through. And I think what it was that happened at the end, I wanted to actually paint a few underglaze pieces, so that took me a hot second. But look, so I did not end up doing an ice cream kind of themed summer. I saw a friend, she had like this beautiful printed zebra print dress on, and it gave me an idea because I'm really into leopard printed things. So why not move into zebra printed? So that's kind of where I went with that. And I wanted to give a recap, but I was feeling all the feels with Real. I finished Real. I finished Good Girl. I went to halfway through on Libby Library of The City Inside, and what was the other book? Oh, Tress. I finished Tress. I gave a review already on Tress and Goodreads, but I wanted to give a recap of Real. This book is my first 6-star read of the year. Yes, not 5, 6 stars. And yes, it's a romance. This is very unusual for me because I feel like most sci-fi books come in my 5-star reads. And it's also funny because like Tress I thought would be a 5-star read because I really loved Mistborn. And I just kind of had my expectations a little bit too high for Tress. And it felt more like a fantasy and less like a sci-fi. So Tress didn't quite do it for me, although it was fun while we were there. But Real really did it for me. One, because I just thought it was so beautifully written. I love the love story. Like, this was a true love story to me. And I think what really touched on my heartstrings here was that it was relatable. And I think that's what makes a 5-star read for anyone. And like, how relatable is it to your world? And in so many ways, this book, honestly, I feel like it was God moving me through a very smutty book. But I don't want to spoil it, but she's going through a hard time. The main character is going through a hard time. And through that hard time, she's working through her relationships in her family. And at that part where she's working through those relationships, it broke me down and I started crying. And I have to also say, I don't know if I've ever cried in a book before, but it's just to say how much this book moved me in ways, and not just from a romance, but from life's situations. But I also wanted to acknowledge at the end, in the author's note at the end of the book, this is not part of the book, she she says, Real is a love story, but also a love letter to the scores of Black creatives whose work and accomplishments have largely gone, she says, unacknowledged and unsung. And in many cases, they sacrifice so much for their little gain in their lifetimes. And when I read that, I felt like it was interesting that she says this and she's really amplifying other people's voices. Like, this was also very much a historical fiction and talking about people like Ella Fitzgerald and people in Black creatives who were in film and music. But when I came to look again at when this book was first published, I thought it was published last year in 2024, to only realize that she published this as an on-demand book in 2021. And as someone who's self-published a book as a print on demand, recognizing it's so hard to find a publisher, and even just get placed in a spotlight for other people to read your story, to see that Kennedy Ryan has been very much hidden from the spotlight for so long. And I'm glad that she's finally getting recognized, not just for Real, but like at the moment she has a few other books. And I know this isn't a recent release, and she has another book that's a recent release, that I think Kennedy Ryan is such a powerful author who I don't think I've read a love story any like better than this. And you could actually feel the chemistry, you can feel the character dynamics of them moving through life. And it wasn't just like, give me a love story, let's walk through this script of, it wasn't that at all. And it was so much more and so much meaningful to me that I feel like Kennedy Ryan deserves all the props in the world. And I hope that I hope she gets those accolades and she starts getting more recognized for her work, because she very much, she said it at the end, I think she is that person who deserves and gets unacknowledged by many people. I feel like many people talk about and no offense, I love their work, Abby Jimenez and Emily Henry, but I was just really moved by this book. I feel like this video is probably going to be forever long, so I feel like I might just end this here. And I might do a little bit of recapping of The City Inside once I finish it. But overall, this was a beautiful 24-hour challenge. First time doing it. Took a lot out of me, not knowing what Real would do, but I'm glad it happened, and we should do this again. We should do this again sometimes. All right, I'll see you later. See you in the next video. Bye.